American Guitar Academy Music Lessons. AGA is where you learn to play.
Now let's discover the next music concept. How many chords are in each key? There are 7 chords in each key. So go ahead and picture the songwriter now standing above one of the ponds, fishing for the notes and chords for their song. The songwriter has already seen the 7 fishtails in the pond that represent the 7 different notes in that key. And if there are 7 fishtails, how many fish are there? There are 7, right? So the songwriter sees 7 fish swimming around, and these represent the 7 different chords in that key. Each of these chords is given a number 1 through 7. So there's a number 1 chord, number 2 chord, 3 chord, 4 chord, 5 chord, 6 chord, and number 7 chord. So go ahead and picture 7 different fish in all 12 ponds in each of the 3 types of keys. So there's a number 1 through number 7 chord in the major keys, a number 1 through number 7 chord in the minor keys, and a number 1 through number 7 chord in the rock or blues keys. In both the major keys and the minor keys, there are 3 major chords, 3 minor chords, and 1 chord that's called a diminished chord. The major chords sound happy, light, or upbeat, and the minor chords sound unhappy, dark, or sad. The diminished chord, just like its name, sounds a little obscure and rarely gets picked to be in a song. Again, in both the major keys and the minor keys, there are 3 major chords, 3 minor chords, and 1 chord that's called a diminished chord. As the songwriter begins looking at the fish, he or she notices that there are 3 really bright fish. These fish are practically jumping out of the pond to get into the song. The 3 really bright fish in each key are the number 1 chord, the number 4 chord, and the number 5 chord. For each of the 3 types of keys, major keys, minor keys, and rock and blues keys, the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord are the chords that make sure a song written in that key type will pass on either happy feelings for major keys, less than happy feelings for minor keys, and somewhere in between feelings for rock and blues keys. There's also another fish who's not a bright fish, but he really wants to be in the in crowd. He wants to be in the song also. So he's always swimming around with the bright fish and usually gets picked for the song also. In our fishing metaphor, we call this the tag-along buddy fish, and this additional chord's number is chord number 6. So the 4 chords that usually end up being in most songs are the number 1 chord, the number 4 chord, the number 5 chord, and the number 6 chord. If you've been learning an instrument that plays chords in your music lessons, you'll notice that as we learn the chords for each type of key, we'll learn the 1, 4, 5, and 6 chords first because they're the ones that show up most often in songs. Then we'll learn the number 2 chord, the number 3 chord, and the number 7 chord. And after that, we'll learn the most used alternate chords. So the songwriter will most likely choose the 1, 4, 5, and 6 chords to put in their song, and they might choose 1 or 2 of the other 7 chords in the key as well. And once in a while in a song, a songwriter might choose chords that are actually outside of the key, and we call these chords the most used alternate chords. We'll be an expert at all of these chords as we keep progressing in your music lessons. When you see chords written down on the musical staff, you'll first have the starting note of the chord on either one of the lines or one of the spaces, and then you'll skip over a line or a space before seeing the next note in the chord, and then again you'll skip over another line or space to see the third note in the chord. To picture all 7 chords in a key, simply picture your scale written down, and then picture the rest of the fish above each note, and that represents the remaining 2 notes of each chord. Depending on the instrument that you're learning, the notes in a particular chord might be laid out a little differently than this, but this is the simplest way to see which notes are in each chord. So to review, how many chords are in each key? There are 7 different chords in each key. One more time, how many chords are in each key? There are 7 different chords in each key. Here's an optional bonus question. Which chords are most often used in songs? The main chords in each key are the number 1 chord, the number 4 chord, the number 5 chord, and the number 6 chord. Any of the 7 chords in a key could be chosen to be in a song, and once in a while, there are chords that are outside of the key that are chosen to be in a song, and these chords are called the most used alternate chords. One more time, which chords are most often used in songs? The 4 main chords in each key are the number 1 chord, the number 4 chord, the number 5 chord, and the number 6 chord. All 7 of the chords in a key could be chosen for a song. And once in a while, there are chords that are outside of the key that are chosen to be in a song, and these are called the most used alternate chords.
Now let's take the short music concept quiz, and then we'll review all the music concepts you've learned so far.